These are not your father's Detroit Lions. Last year, they started the season 1-6, went 8-2 down the stretch, including knocking the Packers out of playoff contention. This season, Lions picking up right where they left off to a 2-1 start after a win against the Falcons on Sunday. The Lions have won 3 straight games against the Packers. Let's break it in. Welcome in the Wizard of Odds, Kenny White, and Sportsline analyst John Berger. And last year, the Lions were 1-6, went 8-2 down the stretch. Detroit is a short 1.5-point favorite in this game. We're going to start with the total here. It's 45.5. For what it's worth, the under hit in both meetings last season. Kenny, you like the over or under this time around?
Hakeem, I'm on the over here. Not a big play for me. I made this game 48, so I had a 2.5 point edge, which is not that drastic of an edge. So I like to usually have about a 4-point difference here, but I am, very low on the Detroit Lions defense. I have them ranked at number 26 in the NFL. Their offense is number 10, so that's what I feel their strength is. It's offensively with Jared Goff and his weapons. The weakness, the defense, and I think they will end up giving up points in the long run. I do like it that Christian Watson and Aaron Jones come back. This would push the Green Bay offense from number 21 in the NFL to number 12. So a very good offensive upgrade for the Packers here if they get both guys back. So, yeah, give me the over here.
Yeah, it's good to see you guys, Kenny. Hope you're doing well. Hakeem, hope everything's good with you, man. Yeah, so I echo a lot of the same comments. I'm going to go the under here. Both teams are sitting here 4 weeks into the season, averaging somewhere in that 26, 27 point range. I just don't see that happening, guys. I like what Detroit's doing. And Dan Campbell, it's hard not to like what he's done as both the head coach. It's hard not to like this team. This team is drafted well with Aiden Hutchinson, Penei Sewell. You look at this defense coming back. They're going to get Taylor Decker back, David Montgomery, Kirby Joseph back. So this feels to me, guys, like a divisional war. Now, understand the defense last week. The Lions defense put up 7 sacks against Atlanta. They were only giving up 2.8 yards a play. So I think this is going to be a fight, and I mean major league fight. Jordan Love has surprised me. 3 games into the year, going into week 4, this guy's thrown 7 touchdowns, only 1 pick. He's been remarkably consistent. Not something I'd expected, guys. And they found the tight end. And what do you know, Kenny? It took him 3 weeks. I don't know where he was week 1, week 2. I can tell you he appeared week 3 in Luke Musgrave. I think he's going to play a bigger role in this offense. At the end of the day, I think this is going to be a war. I think it's going to be a struggle. I'm going to take the under. I just don't see a lot of points scored in this game. All
right, Detroit, a short 1.5-point favorite. Lions have covered 10 straight divisional games. Kenny, do you like them to cover in 11 straight divisional games?
I have Green Bay in the game, but Hakeem, another very slim margin for me. I made Green Bay -1 in this game. Used a little bit of revenge factor from losing both last year. At home, I think they're just a slightly better team. I'm also adding in Christian Watson and Aaron Jones into the equation. That's an upgrade of 2 points to their power rating. So if they didn't have either player, I'd actually make Detroit 1 in the game, would really have no play on this contest. But I think Green Bay gets healthy. I like the way Jordan Love has played so far. He has enough weapons to get the football to. So the offensive line's beat up a little bit. That does hurt, but they have the better defense. Again, I've got Green Bay's defense rated the 14th best D in the NFL. The Detroit Lions, number 26. Believe me, that will start to show up sooner or later. That defense is very, very thin.
I feel kind of the same way. I think the biggest thing for me is you hear people around the league and you see the chatter all over the internet. Look, Jordan Love knows, and he's going to be keenly aware where Aiden Hutchinson is in this game, and that's what everybody's talking about. They're talking about the defensive performance last week by Detroit, putting up those big numbers, 7 sacks, 2.8 yards a play. This entire week, like the coordinators from Green Bay get it. Like, they're not going to not account for Aiden Hutchinson. They're going to have a game plan. They're going to go misdirection. There's going to be a screen game. If he gets out of control and starts putting up big numbers, they're going to chip block him. So they're going to have an answer for that. And the other thing, guys, is you look at Jordan Love. This guy is mobile. He's athletic. He can extend plays. My whole thing is when you add all that up, this is basically a wash game. Vegas has put this at Green Bay plus 1.5. I'm going to take those points at home. I think they got a better defense. and I'm going to trust the momentum that we've seen and the consistency, by the way, of Jordan Love. I'm going to trust that. I'm going to take Green Bay here.
All right, so Kenny and John back in the pack on Thursday night. Now let's get your top Lions player prop. Kenny, what are you targeting?
I'm targeting Sam Laporta, the tight end from Iowa. He's been tremendous. Aaron Goff is continuing to throw to him more and more each game. 5 receptions in the first game on 5 targets, 5 for 5, 5 for 6 in game 2. And then last week, 11 targets to Laporta. Green Bay is a below average football team covering up the tight end. I think he'll be open all day. I think Goff will find him. I'm going to go over the 4.5. It has been inflated. This number was 3.5, but going over 3 straight games, it has to go up. Maybe this number should be 5.5 after his last game last week.
Hold that thought, Kenny. We're going to get to the tight ends in a second, but I like where you're heading. I'm going to go with a different one, but hold that thought for a second. I think the best one is Jared Goff taking the under at 1.5 touchdown passes. I think this is going to be a defensive struggle. I think 2 offenses are going to really have to compete for yards. They're going to have to be clean on 3rd down. They're going to have to convert. And you've seen both defense be consistent. I think it's going to be war. I don't think Jared Goff gets up over the top of that number. I'm going to take the under in terms of 1.5 touchdown passes.
All right, as for your top Packers player prop, Kenny, who's the player and the number that stands out to you?
Yeah, I went with Jordan Love in this game. Rushing yards over 16.5. John's talked about the pressure that the Lions were able to get on Atlanta last week. Green Bay's line is banged up. No David Bakhtiari. That's a big loss for them in that line. Jordan Love, very mobile quarterback, has shown in a big win in week 1 against the Bears, 38-20. Really didn't have to run it a lot, 3 for 12. But in 2 competitive games at Atlanta and against New Orleans, the last 2 weeks, we've seen 2 for 23 and 9 for 39. Jordan Love's going to have to run in this game. This 16.5, extremely low. Get it now. It will be 20.5 by tomorrow.
Yeah. So back to the tight ends. We're going to go Luke Musgrave, the tight end out of Oregon State. Came into the NFL, not a lot of playing experience, both at the collegiate and the high school level. But look what happened in game 1, 3 catches, game 2, 2 catches. And what do you know? Last game, 6 catches. So what does that tell you? It tells you 2 things. Number one, as the coaches are sitting there game planning, trying to figure out how to attack defenses, it's not like he was an unknown. He gained some trust from the coaches. He gained some trust from his quarterback. That's how you double your production. And by the way, I think he's going to be a huge part of this game. Offense is going to come at a premium. When that happens, you look for those big bodies. You look for those short passes. You look for the screen game. You look for the 6-yard tight end. That is Luke Musgrave. Take the over at 3.5 catches. I think he exceeds that tonight.
I like that you guys both are targeting the tight ends from both sides here. Sam Laporta and Luke Musgrave, both rookies. All right, now let's get your same game parlay. Kenny, what'd you put together for us for the Thursday nighter?
Yeah, I didn't really get fancy here. Hakeem went Packers plus the 1.5. See, and I think it's an over game because the NFL started slowly in scoring. Week 1 did. Week 2 was an over week. Week 3 about average. But the more games these guys get, the higher scoring these games will become. I like division games under, but not the first one. I like the second one under once they've played once already. So Green Bay to the over, and then Jordan Love over 16.5 rushing yards will be my 3-team same game parlay.
Hakeem, you know how I feel about parlays, but I'm going to tap the brakes on this one. I'm only going to go 4-leg. Jared Goff, I think you take the under on both touchdown and yards. By the way, yards is up at 251. I think it's safe to go under. On Dontavion Wicks, I think you take the over. The Green Bay wide receiver, you take the over there at 19.5, and Jordan Love under on the interception number at 0.5. I think those 4 make some sense given the way I think this game is going to unfold and unpack. Again, I think it's going to be a defensive struggle. It's going to be a great game for a Thursday night compared to what we're used to, but I think that's the way it finishes up.
John Berger, Kenny White breaking down the Thursday nighter here on Primetime Scoreboard. Men, thank you. Let's take a look back at their selections for Thursday Night Football between the Lions and Packers. NFC North rivals clashing. The Lions have won 3 in a row against Green Bay, including a sweep last season. Over-under here on the total. Kenny's on the over. John is on the under of 45.5. Both, though, like the Packers, plus the points at home. Detroit player prop, Goff under 1.5 touchdown passes. For Kenny, it's Laporta over 4.5 receptions. The Green Bay player prop, Luke Musgrave over 3.5 receptions. Jordan Love over 16.5 rushing yards on Thursday night.